What's up YouTube, Jamie the Kid 00 here, back with another live commentary over a duel. I'm quite enjoying these, so I'm probably going to do it for like every duel I do, which is a problem because I have like 11 of these to do now. So this is going to be a wind-up mirror match between myself and a friend of mine who was practicing for regionals he was going to attend. I'm using basically the exact list, I believe, yes, the exact list that I used to win Bristol regionals, and I'm going to be going first on my Spellground map. He's playing wind-ups, but he's playing a slightly different variant based on a friend of mine's build who top 8'd the same regionals that I won. So I'm going to set a monster and a back row. He's going to summon Thunder King. I'm going to have no response, and he's going to attempt to attack my monster. I'm going to flip out Spirit Reaper, because I like opening Spirit Reaper. It's a really nice open. Maybe against Thunder King I probably would have preferred it to be a Snowman, but I'm not complaining. This is actually quite a slow game. The Thunder King does slow down a lot of plays that wind-ups would make. And as you can see here, I am actually trying to think my plays through, considering what he's got. You can see the rabbit there, and you can see the tour guide that I really just don't want to use yet. Of course, the MST that was in hand, I'm really not going to burn on a random drop. So I believe after a bit of thinking, I'm going to end up summoning the rabbit. Yep. My opponent is going to, with a bit of luck, have no response to it, which is always helpful. Because literally once the rabbit has resolved and it's not warninged, that's it. It's not leaving. So for a moment there I considered exceeding, and then I'm just going to set the MST and pass. Because I don't feel like committing into a board of Thunder King and 3 back row regardless. And I believe at that point my opponent actually accidentally dropped his hand, but I had never realised it yet. And I didn't actually notice, because I was too busy looking at my own hand, so I never actually saw him drop his hand. So, yeah, he dropped his hand there. So he's going to summon the rabbit, and you guys now know what he's holding in hand, and set the trap. So he's now holding the Dark Hole still. So my rabbit is going to revive after he swung into it with Thunder King. Sorry about the yawn there. And I believe I'm going to actually try and make a push here and summon the tour guide from my hand to try and start baiting out some back row. So I'm going to drop the tour guide, and he's going to allow it. No, sorry, he's going to Fiendish Chain it, my mistake. I'm going to chain the MST that I had set to destroy his Fiendish Chain before it resolves and allow my tour guide's effect to resolve. And I'm actually going to do something people will probably question, but I'm actually going to summon a Sangan in the face of a Thunder King, because I'm just that dangerous. So I'm going to summon that Sangan in defense mode, leaving me with 1 tour guide in deck. So it was a risky move, because if I topped the next tour guide, I would be in a spot of bother. But I don't believe I do throughout the game. Either way, I'm going to exceed the tour guide and the rabbit. So the rabbit's a bit redundant on field at the moment, seeing as neither of us have factories. To try and make Giga Brilliant, my opponent's going to respond with Bottomless Trap Hole. So it kind of fulfilled its purpose. The Brilliant play was to bait out the Thunder King or back row, so he still has the Thunder King, but at least that's baited out at 1 back row at very little cost. So my opponent's then going to attempt to summon his own tour guide. I'm going to allow it to resolve after a bit of deliberation. He's going to search his deck for he's going to do the correct thing and special summon another copy of tour guide herself once he can find it. And he is eventually going to exceed into wind-up Zen mains. We're both playing a very conservative game here. I found that wind-ups in this format play a lot more conservatively than they did last time. Playing a massive trap lineup. I believe we're both playing about 13 traps. And I really don't see the deck as being too aggressive now. I see it as being advantage, 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 advantage. And then when you're plus, make a push. But sadly at the moment neither of us have any semblance of an advantage engine going. So we're just going to stall out. So my opponent is going to review his extra deck, consider his plays, and eventually decide on that wind-up Zen mains that I believe I pointed out earlier. Considering it a little bit more, looking at the Zen Mighty. The thinking periods in these games. I should really edit them out, to be fair. So he's going to drop the wind-up Zen mains after much deliberation. I'm going to review my back row and then okay it. He's then going to attempt to attack my Sangan with the Wind-Up Rabbit. And I'm going to Fiendish Chain his Thunder King before the attack connects, which will then go on to allow me to use the effect of the Sangan to search my deck, which was the purpose of me putting the Sangan on board in the first place. Knowing that I had a Fiendish Chain, knowing that I could stop the Thunder King if I needed to, I felt the Sangan play would be correct. He would try and attack into it as fast as he could with the Thunder King still on board, thinking that I'd been trying to bait out the Thunder King with the Giga Brilliant so that the Sangan would be live. My bluff paid off, and I managed to get myself a Magician to go with the Shark in hand. So I've now got the game state. I've now got the gameplay in my hand, but now I just need to clear board with my other resources before I make my game push. So turn is now mine. I'm going to consider my plays through, move my Reaper over, and attempt to summon a Wind-Up Rat, which is in hand. Because of course I do have the Wind-Up Rabbit engraved that was detached because of the Giga Brilliant play. So I'm going to show him the Wind-Up Rat in there when he asked to see my grave, and he's going to respond with Torrential Tribute to the summon, and he's going to attempt to chain his Wind-Up Rabbit's effect. So I'm going to think about this for a moment because I know I have a play here. I'm just trying to think of which one will be the most advantageous, and knowing that his Zen mains will resolve, I'm going to bounce the rat to my hand using the compulsory evacuation device I had face down, leaving my field completely blank so that in the end phase his Zen mains will have to target either itself or his back row. So I'm then going to pass to the end phase, and he's going to target his back row. I don't actually remember what the back row was. I think it was a Solemn Warding. So the Zen mains has just destroyed one of his back rows, which has gained me a bit of a plus. Because the monsters that I lost I wasn't really that worried about, because of course I am going for a clear field push. So he's going to summon the Magician to go along with the Rabbit that just came back, and activate the Rabbit's effect to activate the Magician, searching him out a Shark from the main deck. Because I'm really not that big a fan of making this play, but of course I don't know how restricted his hand is. I know he's still holding the Dark Hole, but I personally, I don't know how I feel about that play, but regardless, we can't change anything now. So he's going to review his extra deck and go into number 39, Utopia, and declare a direct attack for 25, putting me on 5,500 damage, because I believe that is the first damage I've taken. So he's then going to go and record life points and pass turn to me, and I'm going to draw for my turn, review my hand, and think about where we're going to take the game state next. Because this puts me in maybe a bit of an awkward position, mainly because of the fact that I just can't get my OTK going yet. I can't get past his board. So I'm going to summon the Magician. I'm going to go for a play. I'm going to use the Shark. Now at this point I make the less efficient play because I'm not that confident in making the level 5 Magician Shark play. I always forget it, so I always play the safe version. So in this event I could have gone for a Zen Mighty, Photon Papal Imperative and a rank 5, but I was just playing it safe because I completely forgot how I was going to do it. So I just went double Magician, double Shark. So you can point out the misplay if you want, but I've already said it, so it just makes you look like a bit of a tool. So I'm going to make both the Sharks level 5, because of course I made the first Shark level 5 to trigger the Magician. And I'm going to exceed the 2 into a copy of Adrius to remove the Utopia from the field. And I'm then going to exceed my 2 Magicians together for my own copy of Utopia. It was pointed out to me that I could have made a Tyrus Maestroke play that would have resulted in a similar game state, but in the end it really wasn't that consequential. I would have preferred to have a Tyrus on board, because of course it protects me from things like Darkhold, which I now know my opponent is holding, but not to worry. I'm then going to attack over his Zen main twice, leaving him with a completely blank field, and I have a rat in hand. So I should be in a good position here. So my opponent's going to draw for his turn, and his Rabbit is going to come back. He's now holding a Reborn and a Darkhold, so that's a pretty good situation to be in. So he's going to review his graveyard, consider his place for Reborn, or whether it's just worth Darkholding the board. See, this is really the tentative game state, because we're both getting into a grind state where we don't know what either player has in their hand, and only a few cards in their hand can be quite explosive. So he's going to end up just dropping the Darkhold, and I'm going to Solemn it, put me on 2,950 life points, because I just don't want to lose my field presence, put quite simply. So that of course causes him some problems for his 1 card in hand, that being Reborn, but still Reborn only does you so much. So he's going to special summon the Thunder King from his graveyard. Because of the way his life points stack up, it does make sense to an extent. I probably would have gone for, say, my rat in my graveyard, and gone for, say, an Xyz play. I really don't know what would have helped him that much considering the game state. So I'm just going to Adrius off the Thunder King, and then I'm going to go for my game push. So I'm going to summon my rat, and special summon a rabbit from the grave. I'm then going to Xyz the two together and do a bit of looping here. So I'm going to Xyz into Wind Up Carrier Zen-Mighty, use the effect of Carrier Zen-Mighty to search another rat from my deck to the field. This is the point at which my opponent actually offers me the game, but we both agree that I may as well play it out, seeing as YouTube wants to see me play it out. So I'm going to search out the rat from the deck, and that will be the last search from the deck that I do. Move everything up so you guys can still see it. Use the rat to get back the rabbit one more time, and make a Leviair play for the most damage that I can put on board. Because of course I've used my Giga Brilliant, and I don't play Acid Golem in this build, so I'm just going to make a Leviair play and revive his rabbit and make the game push. Either way, that's been game 1. Stay tuned for game 2. I'll see you soon. This has been Jamie the Kid 00. See you later.